Ever feel like you're constantly juggling, like trying to keep all the plates spinning? Just getting by while also trying to actually enjoy life.
It's a pretty universal struggle, isn't it?
Totally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, this idea of survival versus enjoyment. Figuring out how to make them both work. Not like they're totally separate things, but more like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And we really want to dig into that, see how they both actually kind of fit together to make a life that feels, well, good. You know what I mean? A life that feels meaningful.
Absolutely. What's really interesting to consider is that it's not actually about choosing one or the other. It's more like recognizing how they both play a role all the time.
Okay, so let's break it down. First, when we say survival, what are we really talking about here? Like, what are the essentials?
Well, think of survival as that solid foundation you need. It's the basics. Having enough food, feeling safe and secure, being healthy. It's like the groundwork that has to be there for anything else to even be possible.
Makes sense. Kind of like you can't build a house without a foundation, right?
Exactly. Without that solid base, it all just falls apart. Same with understanding anything complex. You need those basic building blocks first.
Right. Hard to focus on much else if you're worried about where your next meal is coming from or if you're constantly feeling unsafe. Okay, so then what about enjoyment? What does that actually mean in this context?
Enjoyment is those moments that make life feel rich and vibrant. Those flashes of joy, those deep connections with people, those times when you tap into your creativity. It's what gives everything meaning. It helps you push through when things get tough because you have something you're looking forward to.
I guess that looks different for everyone. For some people, it might be spending time in nature. For others, it might be making music or art.
Exactly. Could be just kicking back and relaxing, too. It's whatever brings you that sense of, I don't know, aliveness.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so we've got these two seemingly different ideas, survival and enjoyment. But the key takeaway here is that they're not actually enemies. How do they actually work together in our lives?
See, that's the thing. Survival gives you the stability, but enjoyment is what gives you direction. It's what makes you want to get up in the morning. They're not at odds. They actually complete each other.
Like two pieces of a puzzle.
Kind of. If you're only focused on survival, things can start to feel pretty bleak, like you're just going through the motions.
Just grinding it out, yeah.
Exactly. But then if you're only ever chasing those good times, neglecting your basic needs, that's not going to work out too well either. And the stuff we've been looking at, they actually call it a continuous balancing act.
Continuous balancing act. I like that. So what happens when we get that balance right? And what happens when it's off?
Well, when you find that sweet spot, you usually feel a lot better overall. Like you're secure and safe, but also actually enjoying yourself, like your life has meaning. If you focus too much on survival, though, you might feel secure, but kind of empty. And if you swing too far the other way, overemphasizing enjoyment, you could end up in a really unstable place.
So it really is about finding that middle ground.
Yeah.
Like constantly adjusting and readjusting to keep things in equilibrium.
It is, and that raises an interesting question. How much attention are you paying to that balance in your own life?
That's a good one. Something to think about for sure. So the main point here is that we don't have to pick just one, right? Survival and enjoyment actually work best when they're working together.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And the quality of our lives, it isn't just about those big moments. It's about how we weave these two things together every single day.
Yeah, it's that constant back and forth that makes all the difference.
Absolutely. So as we wrap this up, remember that a good life isn't about constantly battling between just getting by and having fun.
Right.
It's about finding that balance where those two things can actually work together, support each other.
100%. And how well you do that really impacts your overall well-being.
Definitely food for thought. So here's something to chew on. How are you balancing those basic needs, that need for survival, with your desire to enjoy life right here, right now? What's one little thing you could change today to bring those two a little closer together, make them work better as a team? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Really